Bad Aaron _ Scarbrough. We got a comic in the house, guys. Kansas City local comic here. He runs the open mic at the Rino, which is North Kansas City, every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. Open mic comedy, you guys. Come check me out. I'm going to be up there working on some stuff. $10 gets you a burger, beer, and fries, and good entertainment. I highly, highly recommend it. It's really fun. Aaron is really funny, and he's a really talented artist. It was a lot of fun to kind of sit down and just kind of pick his brain and to learn about his journey of kind of wanting to be, a comic. It takes a special kind of person to actually want to embark on that journey, and he's just the right person for that, I think. Being he is a comic, some things, get said. Don't get offended, people. He has his friend, Brandon Patrick. Brandon Patrick is hilarious. He's been on the show a couple times. You know that. And him and Aaron are very good friends. And when Aaron was on here, he was, talking some trash, just kind of fun, having fun at Brandon's expense. Guys, don't take any offense to it. These are all just jokes. They're good friends. I think that's about all I want to say. Follow me, Neandertalk Pod, on Instagram, neandertalkpodcast.com. We got some good things in the works. Look for cool things happening in the future. Go follow Aaron on social media, bad_Aaron_Scarbrough. And I don't know what more to say. We went over 2.5 hours. Good podcast. I think I've said that all that I need to say and do here. Everybody, I love you all. Thank you for listening and sharing. And I will see you on the other side.
Welcome to the Inner Talk Podcast. We'll no topic is off limits. Now here's your host, my daddy, and Roy the Soul. Oh wait, one more thing for me. Thank you for coming to the Inner Talk Podcast. Boom, swat, boom.
All right, in 3, 2, 1, boom, shalak, boom. Here we go. Welcome, Aaron.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Sorry I had to start so late. Normally I'm ready to go, rocking and rolling, but...
Well, I'm just glad to be here in Independence.
You're not supposed to tell anybody where I tell people I'm in Kansas City. You say the word Independence, people freak out. They get scared.
Mm-hmm.
That's the meth capital of the world. That was.
Yeah.
It's not anymore.
Well.
Now it's the meth capital of Kansas City, but not anywhere else. I mean, it's cleaned up quite nicely.
You want me to redo that?
No.
Are you going to...
Cut.
Okay.
We don't edit shit here, baby. This is live.
Oh, boy.
This is live. Aaron here is a local comedian, and he runs the open mic here at the Rino every Wednesday nights in North Kansas City. I've been sneaking out there.
You have.
It's been pretty awesome. It's a really cool little gig.
You have great potential, Ryan. I've always told you that.
It's true. That's what my mom always said.
Yeah.
Just trying to make Mama proud.
Well, we're very proud of you.
Thank you, Daddy.
All right. 2 more hours of this?
Yep.
Okay.
Think we can do it?
Well, for what you're paying me, I think we've got a good shot.
You're a pretty cheap guest.
Yeah.
Car ride and coffee.
Yeah, pretty much that and $10,000. So.
Well, better be one hell of a blowjob.
Oh boy.
No?
No, and Ryan, I would appreciate it if you weren't so crass with me. I know that most comedians are okay with that kind of smut, but
it's low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, I know.
It's low-hanging fruit. You're right. I'll do better.
Speaking of low-hanging fruit, I did enjoy your set at the mic the other day.
Did you?
Yeah, it was good.
The one that I just did?
Yeah. Because,
Thanks,
like,
man.
A lot of new open micers, they show up and they immediately talk about rape or something like that. And it was cool to see you go up there and just talk about how high you were. That was really neat.
Well, talk about what you know.
Yeah.
When you're high on life, baby,
Right.
you just talk about how high on life you really are.
Right. Well.
Yeah, it was a good time. I wanted to talk. I wanted to do something I thought it could be. I didn't honestly think it was going to be super funny, but I just want to do something I knew I could be confident with.
Yeah.
Just to gain some confidence and just get comfortable up there. I'm not a dude that goes on stage and does this thing.
Right. No, and that's why I put you at the end of the night after 40 other comics.
Yeah, it's hard to do.
Yeah. Well, when someone new shows up, we gotta weed out the ones who are weak, and if you have the will to wait through 40 comics, then you must want to do it. So, keep coming.
I will. I appreciate even just getting on there. Like I knew, I got there and it was packed.
Mm-hmm.
That was a packed house.
Yeah.
It was pretty sweet. And I was like, all right, let me go see when my name's up there. I go in there. It's like, whoa, like 35, 36, 37. There it is. Like, all right, well, I'm going to be waiting a while. Let me go have a drink, hang out with my friends that I brought with me. And have a burger and fries for $10 and a beer.
It's a delightful place. And, it's a place where young talent can develop into experienced, skilled comics, despite my best efforts to keep them down. So,
I'm brand new to kind of this comedy scene locally. I don't even know how. I think I just found it on the Instagram. I just saw that there was an open mic, and and people at work, we've kind of joked about doing this for a while now. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know what? Here's one. And so I was like, let's go check it out. And so,
well, you happened upon the best one. It's a cool place. I was lucky whenever I got into that because I kind of inherited something that was already built. There's already great community there. It's a great room, and there's just a consistent audience of people who want to laugh every Wednesday who just show up. So my job's easy.
It's free comedy.
It is free comedy, yeah.
It's you get what you pay for.
Yep. Yeah.
It's fun. I've never done this. I've never gone to open mic before. It's really fun.
It is. It's something else, and just the range of people that you see show up to a thing like that there's nothing like it.
It's really cool. It is just such an eclectic group of individuals. I mean, from older people than people who are. You might look at it and be like, wow, you're awfully old. I didn't expect a 60-something-year-old to be up here with suspenders to a 21-year-old or 19-year-old or whatever the youngest person is. It's everything.
Right. It's pretty cool in that sense. There are a lot of elderly people who like get into comedy after they're retired, and that's interesting. I appreciate. I don't want them to feel like they're taking up space in this scene. I would never want them to feel like they're not welcome. Because them deciding to get into it at this age, it's not preventing me from getting stage time. And I just want them to know, if they're listening to this, that I'm very happy that they're there.
Okay. Read between the lines, everybody.
There's nothing to read into this. Everything that I say, I mean.
I know. Me too. I like it. What do you see something consistent with the retired new open micer? Like do you have hope for? Do you ever have hope for any of them, or do any of them do more than a couple times? Like what do you see with these people?
To be honest, they're all pretty delightful people.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, they're super happy. They're retired.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, and I'm not asking you to badmouth them or say anything bad. I'm just saying, like, but there has to be some kind of like consistency. You think, like, do you ever see them do it a lot? Like it's the same person, like come back and do it and improve and get better?
Oh, absolutely.
Or is it a lot of like two and dones? Like
it's interesting because like because I'm I'm still an open micer at this point, and so every time there's a new club or there's a new room, like based on the geography of Kansas City, wherever that mic pops up, it seems like there's always new elderly folks that find out about it and decide to pursue their lifelong dream. Now there are actually some pretty hilarious old comics in Kansas City, and some of them are very supportive. Like they'll like write down a joke they liked from your set and message you later on.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they creep into the DMs. It's cool. But yeah.
How long you been doing comedy? You say you're just an open micer?
Yeah, I've been doing it for 2.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
How'd you get started?
So it's real cringy. I had a friend come into town, and it just like with anyone, like we'd always talked about doing comedy and stuff like that, and I just decided to rip the Band-Aid off and show up to an open mic. And much like you, I went up, I was actually, it was when Arts Bar in Kansas City was still operating. I showed up and they put me up like 60th on the list. Now, a lot of people left, so I didn't end up going 60th, but it was a 3-hour wait before I got to go up. But yeah.
And you did it.
Yeah.
How'd it go?
So I thought it was, I had brought like 20 people. So,
wow.
And, I had never been to an open mic, or I had been to, stand-up shows before, but, I had essentially brought the whole audience, and, they gave me a lot of laughs, and I thought, like, I am a genius, and this is so cool that I just did this one time, and I skipped the whole bombing process because I'm so good.
Nice.
And yeah, and then had to learn very quickly afterwards that it's not always like that. So
when'd you go without your friends?
Mm-hmm.
So then, did you just get the bug right away and just start going every open mic you could find, or like what's been your kind of comedy path right now?
So after I did my first mic, I found another mic to go to like a month later. I waited a whole month, and I started going to that one. And they used to do open mic at that little bar that's attached to the Midland. It's called the Indie on Main.
Oh yeah.
And so
That's a
we
cool
would,
spot.
yeah. It was a terrible room for comedy because there's no stage. There was just awkwardly a mic and a guitar amp, in the corner of the room. And so you'd be performing at people who are waiting in line to go see real musicians.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah,
That sounds awful.
Well, yeah. So, I would go there and just, it was as if I wasn't even there, and that is funny because, like, having a room full of friends who came to see you is like on the extreme easy side of the spectrum, whereas, that is actually too hard to like learn anything about stand-up when, you're just performing to people who would really you rather not be there. But eventually, like, I think performing in that kind of setting, like if I could go back to that mic, I would love to do that now because I get a huge rush out of, just doing comedy to people who don't want me to be doing comedy at them.
Trying not to bomb.
Yeah. No, I love that because you can't just go up and do your material. You have to like actually make something happen. And
Or
that
crowd work or something. You
you have to be present. You can't you can't fuck around with long stories and stuff like that. You have to make something happen, and it's like that's the people, like the comics that I know that I like. They're people who I'd never have any doubt, even if they go into like a hard situation like that, they're gonna get people to listen to them one way or another and make something happen out of it. Going up at a comedy club is too easy.
Okay.
It's like,
Are you talking local comics that you like, or or just comics in general?
Yeah, I mean, like there's some local people that are great with that type of thing. I remember like a few years ago when I was going to that one at the Midland, the Indy on Main.
Mm-hmm.
I remember actually there being, and this guy has since moved to Denver, but my friend Jeff Nelson, I remember seeing him for the first time, and he went up after like 13 or 14 comics at that mic, and everyone had just choked terribly, and I just remember him coming in and just being extremely topical, and just touching everyone in the room with something, and I just remember at that level just being like just completely shocked. And then there's another comic that like I fully expect him to be like a household name soon, and he's someone that anyone in comedy like knows and respects, but his name's Sam Talent from Denver, and if you mention that to any comic around here, he has the most respect. But I've seen him the times I've seen him perform, he just completely commands the room, and he makes you scared to, move a muscle, basically.
Really?
Because, he's so interactive and so quick-witted.
Cool.
That's the kind of comedy I like. But
shout out to Sam Talent.
Sam Talent.
What a great name. Is that his
yes.
real name?
As far as I know.
Yeah.
Well,
speaking of like what you're touching on, kind of crowd work, if you will, you cracked my shit up the other night, man. You were hilarious.
What?
You were hilarious. I was laughing. Really, dude, that was the crowd work you were doing was like, it was phenomenal with a lady getting up, or you're an active crowd. It was just, I don't know, man. You were on fire. It was, I was cracking up.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
I appreciate that. I don't get, so like the crowd work stuff that I do, like a lot of it is like, I try to make it seem like it's, in the moment, but a lot of it is stuff that I figured out because for like a year and a half, I was doing, and I still like occasionally do this show, but there's a show on a bus that I do.
Show on a bus.
Yeah, so it's through
a city bus or something. So
no, that would be pretty punk rock. But there's a show. There's a company called KC Beer Tour.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, and basically, like a year and a half ago, before I had anything going at all, the guy who owned it, and still owns it, asked me if I would, start doing this comedy version of their bus show, and basically this tour goes to the different breweries, and the one that he books, me and my friend Tristan on, they get a comedy show on the bus in between the breweries.
That's cool. What a great idea.
In theory, yeah.
In theory, okay. Go on.
Well, people pay a lot of money to go on that, and there are, free drinks and stuff involved. But I just remember, the first many times of doing that, and we did it like 2 to 3 times per month for a while. But I remember just thinking like being so disappointed with myself because like I would bomb terribly, because I was just trying to do my material on the bus, and that's another like comedy hard mode situation where like you have to absolutely, like, you can't just do your material, you have to make something happen, you have to be very quick. So most of the, like, if you ever see me do crowd work like that, like those are lines that I came up with on the bus by just dealing with drunk people who didn't really want to listen to me.
Did they know they were getting involved with a comedy tour bus?
Yeah, of course.
So they knew they were signed up for comedy?
They do, but people there's a lot of on that show, there's a lot of bachelor and bachelorette parties and stuff like that where really they might have been oh, we kind of like comedy, we'll do that tour.
But that's not what they're there for.
No, they're there to get fucked up and
scream, "It's my night."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I figured you kind of had things ready to go.
Yeah. I mean,
but you made it look so on the fly, like you had no idea what, you know what I mean? You made it was phenomenal. I
appreciate that. But it's like I said, that's the kind of thing where you don't get that by just sitting at home and writing. You get that by performing the shittiest gigs you possibly can, you know?
Yeah.
It's the shittier the better.
What's the shittiest gig right now in Kansas City?
Ooh. Whatever I performed on recently.
You don't have to answer that if that's a bad question, but I like the question.
That's fine, Ryan. I'm not gonna name names, but there's
and I'm not saying this as a bad thing, but a place to get some chops, to earn your chops, earn them laughs. Where's the hardest place to get laughs right now?
It really depends on the night. If you're talking about open mics. I think any bar show, there's still,
you need some
places water? That no. There's still places where you're on the same level as the audience and they're turned away from you,
that would be
still
ridiculous.
Pizza places where you can, and it's I love going to that type of thing.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong, I love it.
It's experience. I mean,
yeah. But I don't know. It's just some people tend to only go out when it's gonna be good, and I can't live that way.
You're
right
saying,
now.
Yeah.
If I only went out when it's gonna be good and you're getting paid for it, and it's a good audience, then you'd be performing once a week.
When you're talking about these people that won't do that, how long have they been in comedy?
I mean, it kind of depends. That's usually a more experienced person,
right?
I don't know. I'm gonna come off as self-righteous if we go.
No, but I like this because I think you're doing it right. I think if they've been doing it for 5, 6, 7 years, they should still be out there. If you're local, why wouldn't you be out crafting your craft?
Yeah.
You're not going to get better just doing it at the good places.
Yeah.
You have to hone it. And, I mean, 5, 6 years, that doesn't seem like that's long in the comedy game. That's still brand new.
Yeah,
2.5 years, that to me seems like an absolute baby.
Yeah, I am a baby.
I wouldn't imagine, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure you've come a long way, but I'm sure you're I still have a long way to go, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I fully intend to be, for the next decade or so, still doing shitty shows. I don't know. You have to do stuff like that if you want to get better.
The only way to get better is to do that, is to perform. With comedy. Comedy's like that, You can practice a guitar all day in your room, and you're going to get better, but you don't know if you're getting better at comedy if you're not performing it.
Yeah. And
you have to know what's working. You have to know if this is going to get a laugh or not.
Right. That goes both ways, though, because a lot of comics, myself included, are much more likely, and it is more valuable, stage time is more valuable in the long run, but a lot of comics, are, and like I said, myself included, very lazy with writing, too. It's the hardest thing in the world to just sit down and clean up your jokes and make it better material, or write down new material, but that has a lot of value too. Do
you make yourself write?
I do. I I won't just like ever just sit there and try to think up a joke out of nowhere, because that's like, I think that like shines through, you know. It's not as like organic if you do it that way. But I don't know, like if I already have a concept in my head, a premise, like I will make myself, if I think it's going to be good enough, like actually write it down, because whenever you write it down, new stuff like pops up at you, and you know, you get more economical with your words, you know. But
yeah, I didn't know if some people just force themselves to write, even if it's not a joke, just force themselves to write anything. Like just sit down and like, I'm gonna spend 15 minutes with a pad and a pen and just start writing.
Right. Well, I know like it depends on the person for sure. I like one of my friends, my other friend Ryan Tricky.
We're friends now.
Oh, really? Wait.
You said,
oh, yeah. Well, we'll talk about it.
No, I thought you were assuming we were friends. I was like, I thought you were saying my other friend Ryan. I thought you were talking about me, and I was like, oh, we're friends now.
You know, it's funny. I did that the other day because I'm seeing someone new right now, and I did that the other day. Yeah. Well, this is after 3 or whatever years of being single, and the other day I did that where like I had to make a snap decision, like when I was introducing her to someone, like am I gonna skirt around this, or am I gonna be like, but yeah, I wound up being like, this is my girlfriend. That's what that reminded me of. But no, like my buddy Ryan, he we talk about joke writing and our material a lot, and he comes off, whenever he performs, he comes off as very like articulate and well written and stuff like that. But he's been doing comedy for a lot longer than I have, and I think that over time, what most people get good at is like putting their ideas into words, and they don't necessarily have to write it down ever. I know a lot of his bits are just completely in his head. He's never written them down. But hopefully that's a level that I'll get to someday. I don't know.
Most of your stuff's written down.
Yeah. It's usually written down somewhere.
If something comes to you like an idea, do you like all of a sudden, I have to write this down right now?
Oh, dude, yeah. Like my
I've been
iPhone.
doing that lately. That's what I've been doing lately. I came with something in the shower today, and I haven't written it down yet because I think I'm going to remember it, but I know I'm going to forget.
Right.
When I'm done with this, I have to.
Dude, and like the heinous thoughts that like sometimes that you write down, like how people talk about, if I ever die, like I have a safe with all my pornography or whatever, like I'm that way with my notepad, like that must be destroyed.
Is that for your eyes only?
For my reputation and the reputation of my family,
right,
America, like I need that to be destroyed.
I can't believe you're putting that out there.
No, well, I mean,
now it's going to be a game for somebody. Somebody might hear this and be like, I've got to find Aaron's secret diary with all his joke shit. I've got to find this shit.
You never know. Like, I'm sure that
you need to carry that like on a briefcase, handcuffed to your wrist at all times if you're that worried about it.
Well, let's hope that you don't have any lunatics in your 34 listeners. But
he's pretty crazy. What do you think I keep him around for?
You call him a listener?
No, a crazy person.
Oh, okay.
And he's listening right now.
Right, I guess so.
Hey, hit that button underneath the table that locks this door.
That would not come as a surprise at all in here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm going to take that as the sweetest compliment I've had in a while.
Well, I mean, like I'm very impressed with the setup you have in here. It looks great.
Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah. Thanks, man. This is going to sound silly. I love getting complimented on it.
Well,
because I've worked hard on this.
Yeah.
So it's nice to get complimented,
Yeah. You're also handsome.
Thanks.
Not
so bad yourself.
Well, I appreciate that. You
look like a shorter, younger Conan O'Brien.
You know, I've heard that before.
I'm sure.
He's aged more gracefully than I have. I'm 28, and you know, I'm. You look younger than me, I think. But
If I shaved, I probably might.
yeah,
I'm a fresh-faced cutie underneath this big old beard.
I know. When whenever because you know, I put off everything until today, you know, and I had a reminder that we were doing this today, and I looked you up on Facebook, and I don't know, and it came as a shock because like your Facebook, it's just like the picture from the podcast, and then
I don't use my Facebook. Yeah.
oh really?
Yeah, I don't really
Yeah.
fuck with that.
I gotcha. It's like you know, Ryan, on Facebook, it's like your name, and then it just says divorced under there.
Perfect.
Perfect. Works at divorced.
I do work at it.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact.
But no, that's a great. Is that the premise for your podcast? Just
Ryan divorced. It is now.
Yeah.
You just gave me a T-shirt idea.
Right.
You know, Talk podcast. Divorced. Get them now for $19.99.
Right. I like that.
I had something good.
Are you talking about in the conversation or in your marriage?
Yeah, both. I had something good
Okay.
with my marriage. Yeah.
Okay.
I do joke about it. I mean, I opened up with it the
Right.
other night. I just made that one up. But yeah, I can tell. I've got some jokes about it because it's relatable.
Mhm.
A lot of people go through divorce.
Right.
And I don't know. Yeah, I've got some ideas I've kicked around to joke around with some divorce material.
Well, I like, you know, stuff about that. There's a comic that I saw do like, he was a feature when Mark Norman was in town, and I got to hang out, you know, at the club while they were there. They were at the Improv, and Cliff Cash, he did like a lot of his set. You know, he did like a 30-minute feature set, and a lot of his set was about divorce stuff, and I would so much rather hear that than hear people talk about their fucking dad shit. I'm so tired.
About their dad shit?
Yeah, I'm so tired of that like Louis C.K. model, like of just like talking about, you know, how your kids are assholes or whatever.
Oh,
It's
I
annoying.
see.
It's just beat to death at this point, and I'm tired.
You're probably
of
not, yeah. Yeah, I don't have much to say about my kids. They're great. But I'm sure I could say something.
Don't just
Good, thanks.
go into the divorce stuff. That's an angle I want you to pursue.
Okay. I will, if you're being serious.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to come up here Wednesday.
Okay.
I'm going to wait for 37 people,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to talk about 3, 4, 5 minutes, however much I can do on some divorce stuff.
Yeah.
Boom.
That's the kind of material that I want to see from you.
You got it. I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
That gives me something to focus on. I'm brand new at this. I want to keep going. I got nothing better to do Wednesday nights.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested in doing this. It's fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. Why not?
Why not?
Why
You'll
not?
meet
So,
new people.
yeah. I need to get out more.
Yeah.
And I think I can come up with a few minutes of some divorced stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody out there that's listening, come on out and watch me in a few months. Not next week.
Right.
Let me get...
Whenever this airs.
this will be next week or something.
I gotcha.
Next Monday.
Okay.
Next Monday. So where is like... I would say where's the best place to do comedy right now, but I'm going to say it's probably the Rhino, but that's the only place I've seen. I've heard of this other place called Barrel of the Bottoms.
Yeah.
Barrel of the
Barrel
Bottoms?
of the Bottoms is that's a podcast studio that is ran by my friend Steven Taylor, who is a hilarious comic, it's they do stand-up shows, and it's located in the West Bottoms. It's a really cool place.
I've been meaning to check that place out.
Yeah.
It looks cool. I mean, I just want to check it out. I heard about them through some previous guests. They were saying, oh, yeah, well, there's this podcast studio we use. I was like, oh, I didn't know there was a Kansas City podcast studio.
Yeah.
And so I kind of checked it out, and that's kind of all I knew. I just wanted to go and check out what their podcast studio looks like.
Yeah.
I want to infiltrate.
Right. It's a pretty cool place. They also host a weekly open mic that's fun. It's stand up, but it's improvised stand up. So when you're on stage, you get there's a bucket that has scraps of paper that say things on them, and there's no pre-written material. You have to draw a maximum of 3. You don't have to draw 3, but you get 5 minutes, and you have to riff on whatever you draw. So that's a pretty cool exercise too.
I was gonna say that sounds kind of hard.
Yeah, it is hard,
and a good way to develop.
Yeah, it is hard.
When is that?
So that's every Tuesday night, at Barrel of the Bottoms, and it's called Comedy Nut.
Comedy Nut.
Mm-hmm.
Is that free or does that cost money?
It's free.
Wow.
Yeah.
All this free comedy. So Kansas City's got a pretty good comedy scene, or what's our comedy scene like here?
It's I think it's good. I kind of live in a vacuum a little bit because I don't have a car. So I even like road gigs that I get, it's usually because one of my friends is already like going and they need a host or whatever. So when I do get to go, it's usually not on my own merits. But from what I know, like we are getting better. St. Louis has a surprisingly good comedy scene. Like,
oh yeah?
Yes.
That's not too far.
No, it's not. But I've made some friends over there. Rafe Williams, who's hilarious, and I've booked him on our show at the Rhino, as well as Bobby J. Cox, and then Libby Higgins and Tina Dyball. Like those people, they do a great job of. They all kind of produce shows there. They're all very professional about it, and they do. They're just very good at being consistent with having good shows. Like it takes some effort, like to get a consistent audience if you're doing like indie comedy in the Midwest around here. I think probably anywhere, but.
Is that what this would be called? Is indie comedy?
Yeah, like
okay.
Pretty much anything that takes place not at a comedy club.
Okay.
Is independent comedy, and yeah. Sorry, I thought I was going somewhere with that, but I wasn't.
It's all right. It happens.
Mm-hmm.
Coffee will get to you.
Well, yeah. This is good coffee, by the way.
Thank you, sir. It's all about how you make it. You can take. You can kill the rest of it.
Okay.
Kill the rest of that if you want. I can make more if you want. We can take a break and I can make more if you want. You just let me know. But it's all about how you prepare a lot of times. You don't have to have the best beans in the world to make good coffee. Uh-oh.
Oh.
Is there
oh, boy.
things behind you there, Charlie? Any kind of paper towels? Sometimes I have some around. Well, it's all right. You can just leave it. Are you going to... You want to pause this and let me clean this up? Because I don't know where my paper towels are. Yeah, we'll be right back, people. We had a party foul.
Yeah.
Hitting start streaming now, and we're back from the coffee spill.
I'm sorry.
Talking. I told you it was my fault. I should have poured it. A good host would have poured it for you.
Well, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I know. I'm about average. Everything.
As a host or just everything?
Everything.
Yeah. The world, there's something to be said about being mediocre, Ryan.
Right?
I would know.
Ha! You're more mediocre than me.
It depends on what we're looking at. Because how old are you?
40.
You're 40 years old.
I just turned 40.
Right.
and it's brutal.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it would be.
I'm about to turn 29.
Okay. Getting close to 30.
Right. Do you have any advice for me? Like, if you could go back to my age?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. What are you doing right now for work? Like, do you...
So I am a sales rep for I'm basically a telemarketer.
Do you have you have a lot of time to work on your comedy?
No. Like, not enough. I wouldn't be working if I didn't have to at this point.
Right.
But
you have enough.
I need money. Yeah.
Right. But there are hours in the day that you can focus on comedy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you do that a lot?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Is your goal to be a comic? Like you sort of said, like in 10 years, do you want to be headlining shit?
Of course. Yeah.
I mean, that's your goal. Like you're taking this. Do you want to take this serious? Like that is like that's
Absolutely.
what I want. That's what I do. That's what I'm going to be. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Well, the advice is just keep hammering it and sacrifice. You want real advice?
Sure.
Real advice sucks,
Yeah.
man. Real advice sucks.
Okay, go on.
And this is coming. Real advice sucks. And this is, take it for what it is. Sacrifice. If that's what you want, you have to sacrifice shit now for the future.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a sacrifice for a reason. You have to sacrifice, relationships.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to sacrifice friendships a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to figure out who is always going to be in your corner, no matter what. You have to have a good core of 1 to 2 people like that.
Mm-hmm.
Preferably males for you.
Yeah.
Females for females.
Yeah.
So you can always confide, just to have a person or two you can confide in and stay focused and driven. Spend all of your time working everything you can to hone your craft and your skill that's what your life is. I'm a comic. When you tell people I'm a comic because when I'm not at my day job,
mm-hmm.
I'm eating, sleeping, sacrificing everything. Like,
right.
you're gonna find yourself in a relation. I'm not telling you to get out of your relationship you have now, but
mm-hmm.
there will be a point where she's gonna want more.
Mm-hmm.
I want kids. I want to get married. I'm not making that much money right now. I guess I need to get a jobby job. Oh shit,
mm-hmm.
I got a kid on the way. Shit, now I need insurance. I need to, you know what? The comedy starts drifting away because you got yourself into this situation, and your lifelong dream is gone. What you're thirsty as fuck for right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you in 10 years you want to call yourself a headliner, a comic. You want a Netflix
mm-hmm.
special.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be like, you can't take the risk of having a family.
Right.
You can't knock someone up.
Right.
Because then a lot of people are going to get, and you could be you could be a deadbeat and say,
mm-hmm.
screw all that and then still
right.
do it. But I don't know. That's not the way that would not be the advice I would give.
Sure.
So my advice is to sacrifice everything, including relationships. Men have needs. Get yourself a Tinder and a Bumble profile. Find chicks to date for. Let me tell you a little secret. I love giving younger people my stupid advice.
Okay.
Fuck. People are gonna listen to this. There's a sweet spot for a relationship. That first 3 to 4 months. It's like that's when shit's heavy,
mm-hmm.
and like, oh, you're holding hands, you're hugging,
mm-hmm.
the sex is intense and good. Oh, I love you too. You're texting all that, like it's real. It's like, but then there's a spot where it's not. It starts to. Then you have to start like, oh shit, it's been 4 months with some hot, heavy, fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But she's going to want to get more serious.
Right.
And then you have to, I don't know, man, 4 months is a good time for a relationship, and then cut it off after 4 months and then move on. Or if that's what you want.
Right.
Or just stay single. And I don't know. Jesus, boy, I just put, hey.
I do think, I think about stuff like that, of course. I want to think that I'm pretty good at compartmentalizing and just keeping, I know that at some point, like, there's going to be conflicts and stuff like that. But, like, with my current relationship that I'm in, I think that, I want to believe that I've been pretty transparent about how I like to spend my time and, what I'm doing. And I think that that's kind of my appeal to the person I'm in a relationship with right now. So that's cool, but I get what you're saying, like because I have encountered this, like, this year, I've kind of opened myself up to the idea of a relationship, and
it gets lonely. It sounds tempting. It sounds
does.
sexy. It's nice. Oh, it's cuffing season. I'd like to have me
Yeah.
someone to hang out with when it's cold. I get lonely. I want to have sex. I enjoy going on dates and spending
Right.
time. Enjoy watching a movie with somebody and just
Yeah.
hanging out. It's nice.
Well,
I get it.
Ryan, the problem though
I get it.
is that when you're at my level, which is this weird, awkward, like I'm doing a lot of, like, open mics and free shows and shit like that. I'm working hard. I'm trying,
Right.
and I'm just trying to get better and better. And I'm not doing it as, like, that's not where my income is coming from.
Not yet.
So, if you look at that objectively to a person, like a girl that's my age, like, objectively to them, that's a loser. That's not a comedian. That's just, like, a loser.
Right.
Right.
That's why you can't have that right now.
Yeah.
That's why you got to focus
I've encountered
on
that a few times.
Of course you have.
This year.
Yeah, of course you have.
It's just like, I know it's, like, cringy.
Women want
and-
now. They're not going to look down the future. They're not.
Yeah.
They need security and stuff right now.
Yeah. It's just like, you have a valid argument that I'm a loser, but, I might
For
not
now.
be someday.
For now.
Yeah.
You don't always have to be a loser.
Yeah.
You don't know how to win. You don't know how to win if you don't lose.
Mm-hmm. Well.
You really. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that 100%. Like, if you sacrifice that kind of shit, man, you're not getting paid now like you would, but you will. That's part of the sacrifice too. You're sacrificing money for right now. And you're saying, oh, the people my age right now look at you like a loser. Those chicks that are 26, 27, 28 look at you like a loser.
Uh-huh.
Well, in 10 years, when you're, let's say, 40,
Yeah.
and you're balling out of control,
Mm-hmm.
guess what? When you're 40, you're going back to these now that are 27, 28-year-olds and saying, hey, guess what? I'm not a loser.
Right.
That 28-year-old open micer, he's the loser.
Yeah.
But I'm not.
Yeah.
And then so you find yourself, you don't find yourself a 28-year-old right now. You
Right.
find it later.
Right.
That's more of my advice to you.
Sure.
That's the sacrifice. You're sacrificing it now. But when you're 40, let me tell you something. Another. When you're 40, it's nice to, be with somebody that's younger than 40.
Right. Well,
As a man,
yes.
we gracefully age, for the most part.
Yeah, I have not.
Women know that. Oh my God, I'm getting canceled. I've tried to cancel so many people that I've had on here,
Yeah.
and I've just canceled myself this episode.
Well, if you do, that's kind of a silver lining because it means someone's listening.
There's a couple people.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple.
Yeah. I'm
Not
rooting for
anymore.
ya.
Not
Yeah.
anymore.
I can help you with the canceling process.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get you canceled.
I
too.
have trouble getting people to listen to anything my name is attached to, but if I tell them that there's the prospect of ruining someone's career,
They might tune in.
yes,
I like it.
I can help. I'm here to help.
I think we were kind of talking about the comedy scene here in Kansas City.
Mhm.
Like you were saying, St. Louis is pretty good. How would you describe the Kansas City comedy scene? Like how many pretty good comics, regular kind of good comics, that competent comics, if you
Uh-huh.
will, are performing around here often that you can see? Like, outside of even open mics? Like, how many comedy
Uh,
clubs do we have?
So, as of right now, there is the Improv,
That's the
like
big
the
one,
Improv
right?
Comedy Club. Yep, that'd be at the top of the chain. There's the Comedy Club of Kansas City, which, as far as I know, is doing fine. And I like performing there.
I feel like I drove by that somewhere. Where is that? Where is
It's
that?
like 103rd and State Line.
Yeah, I was just out that way recently.
Yeah. That's an awesome club. I've not really been able to. I want to get more involved with that club. At this point, I like the owner. Like, I'll message him and he'll like to get a guest spot on a weekend, and he'll do that, which I super appreciate. And then there's Clint's Comedy Stop in Overland Park. I like that a lot. It's just like an intimate little 50-seater
Oh, cool.
room. And then of course there's like actual improv comedy places that, comedy schools or whatever, where they teach improv and do shows. There's like the KC Improv Company in Westport. And then there's the Improv Shop on Broadway, I believe it is. It's like right above Minibar. And then there's bars that produce a lot of comedy shows, like the Mockingbird Lounge is great. The Rhino, obviously, that's a great venue. And then, just a handful of other places.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea. There's quite a nice little scene.
There is, yeah. There's a lot going on, and I think the internet has helped indie comedy, exist.
Sure.
Because, someone like me who's not like, yeah, I don't have money to be advertising, however, with commercials or billboards or anything like that, but I am able to run a consistent, good show at a venue through Eventbrite sales and stuff like that.
Get your name out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Does the Kansas City comedy scene, are you a name most people know and recognize?
I would say like the comics,
Right.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are, like, how many, is there, like, how big do you think the group is of those kind of like consistent good comics, like, that are going to the open mics and maybe being on some of these other clubs?
I mean, it's there's enough of a pool to where in theory, like, showrunners and clubs can have local support if they need someone to fill in or whatever. There's enough people to do that without a ton of they're there every week types of things. I mean, like, the Kansas City Comedians like Facebook group is, I think, like 600 members or whatever. But that's people who actually perform regularly. There's people that quit years ago that are on there.
Right.
There's
Like, how many
out-of-town
active
people.
users are there?
Yeah. But I would say that there's man, that's tough. There's probably a core group of at least like 30 people who are getting
Working at
booked
it
on
and
stuff.
wanting to,
Yeah.
this is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Grinding.
Yeah.
Nice. What kind of, all right, it's my turn to get some advice from you. What would you tell somebody that wants to get into comedy locally here to where to start, how to start, like what kind of advice would you give them, and to, like, maybe what kind of expectation to start trying to feature at one of these clubs? Or yeah, is that what it is? Try to feature?
Well, yeah. I mean, featuring is an honor that takes years to, like.
Well, that's
at
okay.
an
So
actual comedy club.
Mhm.
I'm not a bookable feature, for the most part right now. I get to feature every once in a while at Clint's Comedy Stop,
Mhm.
which is a small room, and I'm super glad I get to do that. But I would say just go to every mic you can. It's gonna suck, and you're gonna end up like going late in the night and when there's no one there and stuff like that. But it's the kind of thing where you don't realize how much progress you're making right off the bat. But if you put yourself into those hard, awkward, situations, like, you will get a lot better. Also, like, don't be like me. Like, when I started, and I still to this day, I don't know if I needed it, and it was a good thing because it got me through my first year. But sometimes the line gets pretty blurry of, like, whether or not you're going to an open mic to perform because there's booze there and it's just a night to go drink and hang out with your friends and perform, or if you're actually going out because you want to work on stuff and get better at comedy. So I would just make a distinction between the two early on. Like, there's a difference between people who go to a mic to, like, work on new material and people who are just basically taking up a slot on there just, in the middle of the party that they're having on a Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of an important thing to you. And as it should be.
Yeah.
Why waste people's time? We want to come here. We're taking this serious. This isn't.
Yeah.
But I see it from the other aspect too. Like, hey, I want to just be on a stage and see what it's like. But yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, you can see both sides, right? Like, the person that does just want to have a couple drinks and get up on a stage, and he can make his friends laugh, and he wants to see if he can make. But
well, you can do that, but it's like, I don't know. There's just a clear difference. Like,
someone who's taking it serious or who wants to.
Yeah, like
someone just dicking around and wasting time.
Right.
Yeah.
And like I said, I was the worst. I used to get, really drunk at open mics and shows and stuff like that. And that's time I can't get back. But there is part of me that thinks that got me through the first, year of it or whatever. Like, I don't know that if there wasn't the appeal of alcohol, and also just the mere fact that it did, like, calm my nerves and stuff, I don't know if I would have continued with it without it. But at this point, because I have decided, like, I'm gonna do comedy, like, it was a no-brainer when I quit drinking.
Look at that. You've already got it in you.
Yeah.
You already got that sacrifice in you. You quit that to realize what you need to do.
Yeah. Well, I had, like, I had a little bit of a when I would have been 27 this time last year whenever I quit drinking. But yeah, I thought, like, dude, like, there's people that have been doing this, for 10 years at my age that still haven't made it. Like, I don't have time to have hangovers, and I don't have time to just, like, I have bad self-control. I don't have time to, waste on alcohol or money. Like,
right.
Money is important at this level too. Like that's why, like, I want to produce shows and stuff like that. I need actual money right now, and like, I can't afford to be drinking. Like, so I had to do something. I had to quit.
Wow. How did you quit?
How did I quit?
Yeah, how did you quit? I mean, like, how hard were you going?
I would say, like, most days of the week I had drank enough, like, during the day to be hungover, like, so I mean, I would have, like, bare minimum, like, probably, like, 5 drinks a night,
Okay.
And on the weekends, like, I would, like, really get messed up, and I spent a lot of time hungover and puking and stuff all the time. But so
yeah, so how do you go from that to, like, how did you quit? Like, you made the decision, hey, I need to quit.
Yeah.
Was it just instantly? Like, what was the trigger that said, hey, I need to quit?
So I had, at that time I had accrued enough, like, there's part of part of me wanting to quit was because I said and did stupid things when I was drunk all the time.
Sure.
You know?
You don't say.
And I had accrued a lot of regrets in the past, almost decade. And so there was that aspect to it, and I just eventually I was like, no, I can't do that. But then also there was the aspect of like I need to be more productive with my days. Like I need to write and I need to be working on stuff. And so I didn't go to like a 12-step program or anything like that. It was more of just like telling my friends. That helped a lot. I was just like, listen, I know this is out of character, but I'm not going to drink ever again. And
Ever again?
Yeah. And for the most part, my buddies have been really cool about it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's something to be said for that built-in shame, like, just having your friends around watching you and knowing like
Accountability.
Yeah,
Right.
because my friends are savages. They don't ever keep their mouth shut about stuff like that. And so if you say something and then do something else, like you're gonna have an ass whooping, emotionally.
You should put a bounty on your head too.
Yeah.
If you ever catch me drinking, I owe you $150 or something like that.
Yeah.
Or something
Bets
that would
off,
hurt.
baby.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the best comic in Kansas City?
Not Brandon Patrick.
Wrong answer. I was gonna say Brandon Patrick.
I know.
I mentioned this little thing.
I listened to that interview you did with Brandon Patrick.
Mm-hmm.
Before. God, what a douchebag.
It's a sociopath.
He was so
I love him.
He was so much of a dirtbag in that interview that he brought you down to his level, and it was like that Between Two Ferns show.
Right?
It was just between two chodes.
It was depravity at its finest.
Now, Brandon, I enjoy, and if anyone happens to be listening to this, he deserves everything that I say bad about him. He drags my name through the mud constantly.
He did it the other night. I saw him. I witnessed it.
Yeah,
I witnessed it. I attest to that.
right.
Slander.
But yeah, he's my friend, and I hope I wish him the best. I hope his job at Family Video is going well.
He's not even the manager.
Wherever he lands after that.
That's funny. Can we show this thing here that you made?
Yeah. Speak of the devil.
Yeah, that was my
my
segue. This is incredible. This is incredible.
That's my gift
Can
to
you
Brian.
Can you get this on the camera there? Yeah. Is it looking good? Folks, most people listen to this. Dang, he did a sketch. Is that pencil?
Yeah, it's pencil.
A pencil sketch of Brandon Patrick, and it is absolutely stunning. I will be framing this. Man, wow. How long did that take you?
Not long.
That's insane, dude.
Yeah. Well, there's something about his face, It's very
Damn,
it's surprisingly easy to capture.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I wish I could better capture his heinous personality.
What kind of stories you got about him?
I don't have, it's not like one of the, like, dude, back in the frat,
Yeah, but I'm sure
me and Brandon.
Yeah. How long have you known him?
I've known Brandon for, I don't know, like a few months after I started comedy.
Okay, wow, nice.
Yeah. He used to frighten me, because he is, if you don't know Brandon, and you probably, maybe you watch the video or whatever, but he is a 4'5" black man, and but with an alarming amount of confidence. And he used to really, really intimidate me. You know, I would see him at comedy shows, and Brandon, and I don't think I've ever told him this, but he used to book comedy shows at the Rhino, and it was an inferior show called Cream of the Crop, and my show came in and kind of put it to rest and to shame.
Whoa. Shots fired.
Well, he's I don't know, but whenever he was in the room and I would ever be doing a set, I'd be like nervous because he used to, scare me. He's kind of like a Joe Pesci type of character,
Ooh, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, he's short but loud. He holds the mic, like 3 feet away from his mouth, but somehow still directs the sound into it. It probably looks like 3 feet, but it's like half a foot because of his proportions.
Because he's only 3 apples tall.
Yeah,
like a Smurf.
He's very, very short. I cannot stress that enough.
Yeah. Come to think of it, he was a little bit shorter than me, and I'm not a particularly tall fella.
Yeah. He he's very mouthy. He always attacks. He makes me so uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I'm sorry
I brought it up.
Yeah.
I feel like I brought the whole room down. Man. Man.
I mean,
who would be some of the better who are some comics to see, like local, like who are you? I probably shouldn't ask you that. Never mind. Scratch that from the record, everybody. I'm not going to ask an unfair question. That's just going to start probably drama. Is there I'm sure there's all kinds of, I have no idea. I'm just assuming there's drama in the comedy circle locally.
The scene is very dramatic except for me. I don't I don't drag anyone's name through the mud. Besides Brandon.
Yeah, I just assume that. I see it in the local rap community.
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of drama. Local, even with the local artists, not like musicians, but like just local art.
Mm-hmm.
There's like these little cliques and drama, and I mean the local podcast scene. There's little bits of drama here and there.
Yeah,
it's like we should just all. I feel like people that are in a certain niche craft need to pull together and not be so sensitive and dramatic, and help each other out.
It is
it's
a little bit
market.
Weird how things like that. That's funny that so I don't know if I've alluded to this at all when you're in the room, but my dad is a falconer.
Oh yeah?
So
your dad's a falconer.
Yeah.
So he has falcons and makes them catch rabbits or something?
Yeah. I mean, essentially, that's the gist of it. He trains falcons and hawks to hunt. So I was, I grew up around that level of weirdness.
Oh, it's
but
interesting.
Yeah. And, what you were just talking about with the drama, there's drama even within the world of falconry in the United States, which is, may come as a shock to you, but that's a small circle. I made this every once in a while. I'll think of something funny and like make a meme out of it,
Nice. I love memes.
And my brother is also a falconer.
Runs in the family. I love it.
Yeah. I didn't get the bug, but so my brother posted this picture of him holding a hawk that he had just trapped out in the wild. You trap them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh. Didn't know that was legal.
Well, you have to have a license. You have to
okay.
have a license. You have to apprentice under a master falconer for a while.
Okay. Wow. This goes deep.
It goes very deep, dude. And yeah, it's just such a strange thing. But I made this meme of my brother holding this falcon or hawk or whatever, and I put like adopt, don't shop on it.
Okay.
And I tagged my brother in it on Facebook and Instagram. I didn't think anything of it, and I woke up this morning, and the comments on this are just insane, because that went to all of his like falconry, friends and enemies that he has on Facebook.
Friends and enemies.
And yeah,
falconry enemies.
do you want to see? Can I pull my phone out,
Please do.
and show you? Okay, so I'm gonna pull up. I've been watching this like a hawk today.
Boom.
Just because it's been so juicy. But I accidentally made quite an uproar in.
What do you got? Mongolian heritage in you or something? How do you become in the world of falconry?
Dude,
How many generations back in your? You don't look Mongolian. You look Irish or something.
Yeah, I
Scottish
get that a
or
lot.
Something I don't know. Canadian.
Yeah, I don't really.
White as fuck is what you look like. How do you get into falconry?
God, I'm having trouble pulling it up. Hang on.
Generations and
Maybe
generations
my brother.
of just...
Maybe I've been reported to the NAFA, North American Falconers Association.
Of course.
That's possible.
NAFA.com.
Yes. Okay. This is not good.
Don't worry about it, dude. We're not in any hurry.
Yeah, I know, but
Got nowhere to go. We're just hanging out, drinking coffee,
mm-hmm.
talking about how many generations back your family goes with.
It's just my dad and my brother.
Well, how'd your dad get into it?
So, as I understand it, he read. There's this book that used to be like pretty popular, young adult fiction, called My Side of the Mountain. And
yeah.
You know about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So my dad read that as a kid, and he just
Gary Paulson, maybe? I don't know.
I don't know. That's about all I know about it. But
yeah, I remember that.
That was his first exposure to the world of birds, and he got into it that route. But so anyway, I caused a problem in the falconry community.
That doesn't seem like an offensive joke, meme. Adopt, don't shop with. People should get it.
Well,
right?
Who knew these falconer
understand.
types are a little bit sensitive.
Yeah.
What
would you call them? Do they tend to lean politically right or left?
Oh my God.
Or nowhere. Are they? Extreme.
They're an interesting. I tell you what, man. My dad, I would early on in my childhood, I would go out, doing bird stuff with him, and then I remember one time he took me to like a falconry summit, in I think it was like North Dakota or something, and I think the only thing that binds them all together, the only characteristic that they all have, is that their families are embarrassed about them. That's the only common ground. All right, so I did find the comments that I.
Excellent.
All right, and I'm gonna, I don't want to out this guy, because he clearly has a problem with me in the first place. So I don't want him.
Is this a
I
stranger?
hope this isn't one of your listeners.
Okay.
So this guy said, I was going to pass on commenting here, but I can't resist. I have always contended that falconers are the worst enemy, that falconers' worst enemy are falconers. The competition that people have inserted into the sport has become asinine in recent years. Now, you folks... So now you folks have really gone over the edge. I am a better falconer than you because I fly a passage bird? What crap? First of all the 2,000 plus falconers in the U.S. flew passage birds, and the antis, which I think just means like people who have a problem. Yeah, I can't imagine that would be a significant group of people, because most people don't know that it's a thing in the first place. But so the antis would have a meltdown, and it would be and it would end overnight. Captive breeding is what has kept the sport alive and kept PETA and the rest off our back. Second, your falconry is limited if you only fly passage birds.
What's a passage bird?
That means one that you got from the wild.
Okay,
so,
a wild bird,
the
not a
adopt.
captive.
Yeah,
okay,
the
I
adopt
gotcha.
version rather than going to a falcon dealer.
Okay. Oh, there's falcon dealers. yeah, okay, gotcha.
They're a weird bunch too. I encountered a few falcon breeders. They're interesting. Like, they're kind of like drug dealers, you know? 'Cause
right?
most of them
Okay.
sell drugs too.
That's
Okay, so
funny.
captive breeding is what has kept the. Okay, hang on. Your choice for long wings is a prairie, merlin, or a jur. Those are all types of falcons.
Okay.
If you have the money to keep it alive for more than a year, or if you were lucky enough to draw permit, maybe a peregrine. I think that falconers should be thankful for what they have and concentrate on being personally better than they were yesterday. They should forego the self aggrandizement. Aggrandizement. Okay. I'm trying to make this guy seem like an idiot, but plot twist, the idiot is me. I'm illiterate. All right. So they should forego the self-aggrandizement and the attitude of who is better than who. If you fly your bird at game, that should be the only criteria a falconer should be judged by. I wish I could say that was the end of it.
That guy is passionate about something.
This is where it gets good. So, this person, also a falconer, a lady falconer, which is a real unicorn. It's a male-dominated field.
You know how you flirt with a female falconer?
Oh boy, are we gonna have to write this down for your set on Wednesday?
Yeah.
Go on, Ryan.
No, I can't do it.
What? Come on. Hey, come on. No topic is off discussion.
No topic is off limits.
Yeah, whatever.
I honestly did forget it. It was going to be something to do with, hey, you're pretty. You got almost all your teeth.
All right. So,
Damn.
this lady said, oh, wait. Oh, shoot. We're going to have to cut that. I almost outed him. I think you might be overthinking the meme. It seems to me that he's poking fun at adopt, don't shop as a mentality. Plus, everyone knows that the money it costs to travel and trap a bird is almost the same as purchasing one. So no big difference. I'm just going to skip to the end of this because this is my favorite part. Basically, my brother commented on it saying that if you would have done a little digging, you would have seen that my brother who posted this is a comedian and not a falconer. So he said, stop with the recreational outrage, which
Nice.
What an articulate boy.
Nice.
All right.
That's the way to put it.
So the angry man from before says, OMG, all caps. OMG, I don't know you, and you damn sure don't know me. How is anyone supposed to be able to interpret another's twisted version of comedy? I have been practicing falconry for 56 years,
Whoa.
long before most of you were a thought in your father's mind. My default setting on subjects pertaining to falconry does not lend itself to comedy. With all the outside pressures on our sport, one cannot not let even mock stupidity slide. This is not outrage, it is self-preservation. Before you put that stuff on Facebook, think, all caps, think how it will go over with the aunties. There's that word again.
Yep.
With the aunties and people who take falconry as the breath of life itself.
Wow. This guy is scared he's going to lose his sport of falconry.
Yeah, well, I don't...
He's scared.
Yeah.
The aunties. I mean, I don't think there's enough I mean, PETA's got more important shit to worry about than falconry, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean,
it seems like a pretty damn ethical. Like,
right.
How much more ethical can you get than letting things that's going to happen anyways? I mean, falcons are going to grab rabbits or squirrels, whatever it is you're trying to train them to do and hunt with.
Right.
They're going to do that anyways. They're just, I don't know, making the kind
Don't get me wrong. I want to put it into falconry so that my dad will play catch with me again.
Oh, yeah.
But, as far as moral high ground, I don't think that I don't think that falconers they've existed in the shadows for centuries, man. And
really? Or do they just think, or is it just not popular? Nobody really cares. Nobody really cares, do they?
Well, I think they prefer it that way, Yeah. Like they don't.
They want to stay in the
shadows.
shadows.
They're a secretive bunch.
Okay.
There's a reason why probably they have the NAFA summit in North Dakota in the middle of winter or whatever.
Really?
I know that it was in a northern state and that I didn't have a good time there.
That is a fascinating. I love finding little pockets of the world like that. That's a strange little pocket. The falconry. I was involved. Frisbee golf. That's kind of a different.
Mm-hmm.
It's exploded recently, so it doesn't sound as different. But there was a time when that was kind of fringe. But damn, falconry. I never really knew it really existed.
Right.
I mean, I'm aware. Like in Asia,
mm-hmm.
I've seen some really cool videos of golden eagles.
Like people who own golden eagles and
train them. And these things are jacking like wolves and shit.
Yeah, those are big bitches.
They're knocking off sheep and stuff off mountains. Have you ever seen those videos?
No.
Oh, it's sweet. These giant golden eagles are giant.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like these mountain goats, and they're too big for the golden eagles to like pick up and fly away with.
Right.
But they're strong enough to grab them real quick and like knock them off the mountain.
Holy
And
moly.
then these goats fall down and die that way, and then boom, there's dinner.
That's funny.
Uh-huh. It's pretty badass.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. I don't know. That sounds a little bit more fun than, what
what are they really doing? What's the funnest thing a falconer is going to do for a day trip of doing falconry?
So, as I understand it, this is just from my experience. If Dawn from Facebook, if you're listening to this, I don't know what you do, and I certainly don't want to make an enemy here. But so we would and I got out of this at an early age, like I said. Some of us were not so lucky. My brother is still.
You saw the trap, and he was like, "I
Yes.
got this."
It's funny. The girl that I'm dating, she came to Thanksgiving and stuff, and I had told her my family's a little bit quirky or whatever, but I was like, I was talking to my brother with her right there, and he was like, "What'd you do last night?" I was like, "Watch Netflix," and I was like, "What'd you do last night?" And he was like, "Oh, bird stuff." And I was like, Graham, I was afraid you were going to say something weird in front of her, but thank God. So we, part of being a falconer, entails that you have food for them to eat, and it's not, kibble.
Mm-hmm.
Like they eat, they're meat eaters, and you got to give them real meat. So we kept a pigeon coop out on a nearby farm, and basically the pigeons served as training. I don't mean to get graphic here or whatever, but the pigeons didn't always stay intact, throughout training. But so my dad would go out to the pigeon coop and take me oftentimes. I'd usually wait in the car. But these pigeons wait around in the coop, kind of just all day, kind of like those.
Waiting for their turn.
They're kind of like those toys in Toy Story, those alien toys that just kind of wait to be chosen or whatever. And my dad would, we would use them to train birds. He would use the pigeons to catch new birds. We would literally go out driving with pigeons in the cup holders, And there's a method to obtain new birds. This is a method that Don from Facebook doesn't want you to know about, because he wants, he's trying to make a living. He's hustling, selling falcons. But if you are so inclined and you're licensed, you can, get new falcons this way. So they would essentially, my dad, among other things, was also very good at leather work. So,
cool. That's interesting.
So he would make these leather vests that were pigeon sized, and he would put this vest on the pigeon that had like fishing line nooses, so the hawk would get like trapped.
Whoa!
He would also attach a weight to the pigeon so it couldn't fly away. And we'd go driving around, and we'd see a red-tailed hawk or whatever, sometimes he would have me do it. If it's on the passenger side, I would toss the pigeon. You just kind of throw it like a grenade, and the hawk gets caught in it, in the nooses or whatever. It gets its claws caught in there, and then you have a new bird. And
Whoa!
Yeah, so
dude, that sounds awesome. I'm gonna get into falconry now. Holy shit!
It's not.
You sold me.
It's not as glamorous as it sounds, and unless you have a space for a pigeon coop here, which I mean, I know you do have that. You have an attached garage.
Yeah,
right.
I do.
I'm not gonna listen. Live your life. I'm not gonna tell you, but there's a lot of hoops that you have to jump through to get to this level. But yeah, man, I don't. There's a lot I could go into. I don't know
sure.
what you're trying to.
I'm curious. I know we're talking about comedy, but the falconry took me down a road of I'm very interested. That's an interesting stuff. I never thought about it. What? Yeah. Okay. I'm satisfied enough with one more question.
Okay.
You probably can't answer this, but has anybody that you know ever tried to eat hawk?
Ugh. Not that I can prove.
Right. I didn't know if that was out in the circles, like, hey, we had that, we roasted this along with Thanksgiving turkey, and we just wanted to see what it was like. We stuffed it with stuffing and made it like a turkey, and here it is. Have you ever heard of a story like that?
I haven't, but listen, my dad, I met all kinds of colorful characters throughout my childhood due to falconry. And I remember, Uncle Mike, not a real uncle, but Uncle Mike, he used to drive down and visit us. And this dude, I don't think I was with him when this happened, but my dad told me about it. They hit a deer at some point, and Mike, without addressing it at all, just gets out. And I think it was my dad that was with him. Was just like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I mean, my kid's got to eat.
Right.
Yeah. So he he was like, come help me with this. And they put the deer in and so a lot of them. I think Mike was also a falcon dealer as well. And I think a lot of them live by that mindset of just whether it's a deer or a pigeon, nothing should be wasted. Mm-hmm. So I have a hard time believing, and with falconry, whether they fly away or they die, in the line of duty, I have a hard time believing that Mike has never tasted falcon,
right,
or hawk. I would I would expect that he knows what that tastes like.
Yeah. I'd like to. Yeah. I don't think it would be very good. It's a carnivore.
It is a carnivore.
Can't imagine me being good.
Yeah, and you got to think about what they eat, because like they can't have pheasant and rabbit, which are fine dishes.
Right.
They can't have that all the time. A lot of times they're eating pigeon, and
mice.
If they're eating pigeon, you kind of are what you eat. And I've never eaten pigeon.
A lot of pigeon was brought here to be food. It's called,
was it?
Yeah, it's called, it was like squab. Is that what they call it? If you see that on a menu, that's the fancy way of saying pigeon.
Yeah.
But it's a big dish over in England. In Europe, I believe it's called squaw or squab. But that's just a fancy name for pigeon. And they were brought over to America for food.
Really?
Uh-huh. They're invasive species.
I'm sure that's something that, like, if I would have paid more attention to the things my dad told me growing up,
He probably told you that.
I would probably know that. There is no. I've never met anyone who knew more about birds than David Scarbrough Sr.
It makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense. All right, back to the comedy train. Kansas City comedy train. Woo woo.
Okay.
Yeah, where do you see yourself in the next kind of few years? Like, what is your kind of goals? Do you have like a 4 or 5 year goal for locally? Do you want to eventually get out of Kansas City? Do you have dreams of maybe trying? Yeah, you want to go to LA or New York?
Like I want to go somewhere where, like, I would like to go to New York first, of course.
Yeah.
The way I see it right now, like, I'm still such a baby with all this that, like, I'm still, I still have years of getting better to do.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
and I might as well, because, like, at least here, like, I've gained more of a reputation. I have, like, more opportunities here. I have a job that allows me to pay my rent and stuff like that.
Right.
The way I see it as of right now is I might as well live where it's cheap and, like, where I can get stage time while I'm getting better and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, like, someday, I want to move to New York and, pursue opportunities. But as of right now, I'm here.
Trying to be number one in KC.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that should be your goal.
I don't, of course, like, I would
I mean,
love
number
to be
one,
known
maybe like
as like the guy, because every town, every small market has, like, the guy
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, and I would like that. I got to, and this sounds like a humble brag, and it kind of is, but I got to hang out with one of my favorite comedians about a year ago.
Ooh, who's that?
Nate Bargatze.
Oh yeah.
So I got to hang out with him at the Mockingbird like a year ago, and that was one of the things, because I was probably so annoying, I was just like, what do I do, man?
He's like, why is it every single time with same conversation?
He was super nice though, and he was actually, the last beer I ever drank was one that Nate Bargatze bought for me.
Wow, that's a good retirement beer.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
But he told me like because he kind of did the, he moved to Chicago and did his time there, which is that's usually an upwards move that a lot of people take, is move to Chicago, make it there, then go to New York, and then go to LA. That's like the rite of passage or whatever.
Okay.
But he basically said, as soon as you are the guy in whatever town you're at,
time to step up.
It's
your
time
game.
to just move. Like,
next level.
as soon as you're the guy, don't hang out where it's comfortable.
You've done it.
Like,
next,
move on.
It's a small market. Go to a bigger market. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what an athlete would do.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, he was full of little nuggets like that. I think about.
Who's kind of the Kansas City guy right now? That's that guy that we'd be talking about. Who would be that guy right now?
Man.
Who's top of the game in Kansas City right now?
I mean, like, probably the most, like, bookable person that's, like, anywhere close to my level, just, like, people that I hang out with and perform with all the time is...
Yeah.
I mean, like, Ryan Trickey is probably has the most clout and respect right now. Yeah, I mean, there's guys that have already, already done the Kansas City thing and moved to L.A. or whatever. Like Chris Porter is a huge name.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Watkins?
Yeah. Is Jeremiah, is he from Kansas City?
I believe he is. I think he's kind of on the Kansas side.
See, I didn't even know that, but I mean, I think he's hilarious.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that. Mike Baldwin is also someone who's made a career of it. But yeah, right now, like Ryan Trickey.
I think there's a couple other names. Older. Where's Dean Del Rey from?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's a couple people that have gone to like the Comedy Store and are like regulars there.
Sure.
I think.
Yeah. But then there's also people who are super, funny that have been here for 20 years and never left in that,
They just like it here. I mean, Kansas City's
yeah.
dope. I love
Yeah.
Kansas City. I could see why a comic would be top of the Kansas City game and want to hang out here. It's a great town. It's cheap to live in.
Right.
It's just the city's popping right now. It's getting better, bigger, better. It's growing. It's exploding.
Yeah.
This is the spot to be.
For sure. Nick Nichols is also, like, if you're talking about the guy, like Nick Nichols is great. And Merritt Lemons, she's also super funny. And she'll probably be gone soon, moving to somewhere. But those are, I guess, the three off of my top.
You guys
the top of my
step
head.
your game up soon, you guys, and get the hell out of here and go make it bigger.
Yeah.
That's my advice.
Yes, except for Ryan, because he's my ride to most gigs. I hope maybe he'll like something will come out about him that causes him shame and disgrace in the community to keep him down for a little while, which is what would be convenient for me.
Well, let's I'll book him on the podcast and I'll try to get him canceled.
Dude, I can help
pointers.
with both parts of that, the booking and the canceling.
There'll be a cancellation fee.
Yeah. Oh, good Lord. Write that down, Ryan.
I just did.
Okay.
It's on recording.
Yeah.
I'll remember this.
Yeah.
That's where I get all my best material.
All your best.
All of it,
Huh?
since it's come out so much.
Mm-hmm.
So you wanted to pimp a little something you were on here.
So, yes, I thought
What you
you'd
got
never
going on?
ask.
Yeah, sorry. I just get carried away with falconry.
Who gave you the best dad mug?
My kids, of course.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, that was obvious. All right.
For Father's Day this year.
So, yeah, I produce a show called Well, If It Isn't Comedy at the Rhino.
Well, if it isn't comedy, what does that mean you produce it?
So I book the comics, I promote it, I host the show, and just everything. It's like it's my baby, and so that takes place like once or twice a month at the Rhino. It's not like a set day, but it's always on a weekend. And you said that this episode's going to air next week.
Yep, next Monday.
So the next one of Well, If It Isn't Comedy, whenever this airs, the next one is going to be December 27th, and it's going to be kind of a homecoming show. My friend Jeff from Denver is going to be on that show.
Oh, cool.
As well as Nick Nichols, who I mentioned earlier. And Merritt Lemons is also making an appearance. So that one's going to be super funny, and that one will likely, I would like to think that one's going to sell out.
How would you get tickets for that?
Eventbrite. It'll be on Eventbrite as soon as right before when this airs. The tickets will be available.
We go like on an Instagram and click a link,
Yeah.
or like event. Just go to eventbrite.com and then type in
well if it isn't comedy.
Well, if it isn't comedy. Oh, and then it pops up. I don't really
It'll
know
pop up
how
there.
Eventbrite works too much.
I have an Instagram that I promote the Well if it isn't comedy. I think the handle is just Well if it isn't comedy. And then me on Instagram on bad_Aaron_Scarbrough. So,
yeah. I'll write that down. So so you go to Eventbrite and Well if it isn't comedy, and then how much are tickets? Is it always different prices to get tickets to one of these things?
Typically, like the advance tickets are $15.
Nice, that's not bad.
And then the show will either be $15 at the door or $20 at the door. But there's an access code or a discount code for all advance tickets. I keep this active for all the shows.
Mm-hmm.
So it's $5 off on Eventbrite if you use the discount code early. So that's
Sweet.
forever. Yeah, we're treating the people who listen to your podcast till the end of time to a discount.
Discount code early. $5 off. That's like 25% off or 75%. I don't know. Like, what's math?
Yeah, yeah. That's
a lot of money off, everybody.
Off, yeah.
Yeah.
So
hell yeah. Just keep a lookout for that.
Mm-hmm.
How far out do you book those?
So they're typically
Like, how do you do that?
It depends on who I'm booking. I've had the one following that, which is January 4th. I've got a big headliner coming in for that, Libby Higgins, who is the M'Excuse Me chick. If you've ever, she has a viral video that a lot of people love. She plays a character named Darla, I believe, where it's so funny. It's this chick who is outside of a McDonald's, and I just watch it.
Okay.
Excuse me, Libby Higgins. So she's also a hilarious stand-up comic, and Tina Dyball as well. They have a podcast together called the Slop City Podcast.
Okay, cool.
Which
that out.
is super cool as well. And they're co-headlining my show on January 4th.
Are they local?
And those tickets are already up.
Those are up?
Yeah. So they both live in St. Louis, actually.
Okay, how do you book your shows? You just, how do you know, what's...
So it depends. A lot of these people I've met, when they're on the road. I know that, Tina and Libby, who are on January 4th, I was recommended them by another St. Louis comic, Rafe Williams, and so that's for that particular one. That's how that came about. But comedy is a very small world.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
As far as people who actually work the road, I'm lucky enough that with my affiliation with the Rhino and then
that's a sweet gig
shows,
you got. How did you get that?
You
said you kind of inherited it.
I did. The production manager used to run the mic, and he's a super cool guy named Ben Went. He used to run the mic there and also help with the production of comedy shows. And he just had his second kid, so he stepped away from the mic and donated it to me. So it's been really cool to get to do that. That's good experience as a comic too. There's something to be said about hosting a mic rather than just showing up and performing, as well as running a show. It makes you kind of be able to think oh, this is why bookers act the way they do.
Yeah, I don't know how they act, but I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, granted, there's saying bookers could mean anything. Could mean a comic who, like me, who produces a one-off show, all the way up to someone who books a major comedy club. But yeah, I think differently now that I have a stake in how the show actually goes. Because when you don't, all you care about is just like, well, no, I want to have the best set I possibly can. I want to do my thing. And you're very like, whereas if you're running a show, you're like, I want everyone to kill. And I want people to talk about it and come back. And I don't want the audience to ever get turned off, so.
It's fun to watch you work, to do your thing. It's fun to kind of, beforehand, you're just kind of making sure people are signing up and you're working your ass off, and then you get the music going, you run up there and you do your time in front of the biggest part of the crowd, so that's dope too.
Yeah, that is good.
And and then you run back, and then the whole time, man, you're putting in work. Like you're doing it every week, sitting through these people.
Right.
And it's open mic. It's a lot of fun, but you see a lot of bad comedy, and I'm sure after how long you've been doing it there.
I think I inherited that mic I want to say 2 or 3 months ago.
Oh, so not long enough but I'm sure.
No.
Just think about in a year of all these open mic, you're going to see a lot of the same premises done horribly.
I mean,
but it is fun.
Yeah.
But it is fun.
Yeah.
I had a blast watching bad comedy.
Yeah.
Because there's nobody's mean. I haven't experienced anything mean yet from bad, just like some people really bombing up there. This guy last week, it was brutal, and you could feel it in the room, the whole room. Do you remember who it was? He had a green and black hat. And he was all, I don't know.
They all run together.
All right. Yeah, of course they do.
It
was so, and he kept going, and he kept going. I was like, this guy's got to end it himself, doesn't he? But I guess he thought he was doing good.
They don't, though. They'll get up there, and some of them won't even say anything for fucking 15 seconds, and they're sucking up time, and it's just annoying.
And energy.
I hate it when people don't try, it's just it's.
Yeah, it was so bad, and there was a legit energy in the room you could feel from this guy bombing so bad.
Yeah,
and that's what I loved. I was my friend that I was with. She was just kind of like, "Oh my, this is so bad. I can't do this. This is so bad." And I'm just trying to not crack up from just burning out laughing and being the only one laughing. Just would that have been poor manners on my part if I would have done that? Did I do the right thing by holding in my laugh?
No. I think that
because I'm laughing for the wrong reason. This is so bad, and everyone feels it. It's so bad. It's hilarious.
I don't think it is, and I don't know. The open mic scene and just comedy in general is not very inviting. To as a new performer, and I think that's good. Because otherwise, what we're doing is not, it's not a wine and paint class or whatever.
Good.
It's
nice.
There's people who show up to mics that are trying to make a career out of it and stuff. So just the fact that I think a little bit of bullying and not that it's right to bully or whatever, but a little bit of pressure and ridicule and stuff like that, it can make you decide right off the bat, is this for me or is it not for me? Because no one's gonna, when you start doing comedy, most people are not gonna be happy that you're doing it. Oh, good, another person who isn't funny yet taking up space,
taking
on
up
the
airtime.
Yeah. No one's gonna be happy for that. So you have to be just kind of a resilient, tough, mentally tough type of person to even, because you're not really welcome.
Right. I gotcha.
And everyone goes through that stage. Everyone goes through sucking.
Did you see him look right at me when he said you're not really welcome?
Well, no, you are, but
I'm kidding.
I mean, it's just it makes you better just going through that for years. I still have times when I'd say something that sucks and the audience doesn't laugh, but my friends in the back of the room are just dying laughing because I look like such an ass.
Right.
That's just it's so part of it. If you don't have that and it's just easy all the time, right off the bat, then, it's just go do improv, Like, go take an improv class.
Whoa, Aaron, you got
which I've done.
You got some beef with improv?
No, I like improv.
There's a difference, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, improv comedy, like the whole spirit of improv comedy is different than stand up. And I've taken improv classes, and they're great. And it's a great art form.
Mm-hmm. Is that the city barrel of the bottoms thing? Is that what they do?
They do. I believe they still teach improv classes there.
Mm-hmm.
And their open mic is stand up, but it's improvised stand up.
Okay.
And I'm not.
That sounds fun.
I don't mean to shit on improv comics.
I'm not taking it like that. I know there is a difference, but
the last thing I need is to have those people after me as well as Dawn the Falconer.
You don't want the improv.
Yeah,
people coming at you.
I don't want hawks flying at me, and then people.
You just don't want enemies.
Yes, anding me or killing me with positivity and open-mindedness.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the last thing I need right now.
I like that you're admitting that you don't want it to really be a super welcoming community.
Stand up? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like...
Which is funny because I felt kind of welcomed the first time I showed up. Like, I took a friend...
It's my job as a host. It's my job to make it a somewhat of a welcoming space and for everyone to have a good time.
I get it.
But people get entitled too fast, They're, and I was the same way. Like, I remember when the comedy club, when they switched their mic to everyone gets 3 minutes, I was pissed. I was like, I've been doing this for 8 months now or whatever. Like, I deserve 5. No, you don't. Mm-hmm. No one deserves any of this. Mm-hmm. This is like, you don't deserve that, and
got to earn it.
Yeah, you have to earn it.
I get that.
Most people don't need 5 minutes. Like,
right.
I don't need, whenever they, I
5
started.
5 minutes is a long time.
It is a long time, and it creates bad habits. You've seen how people will go up on stage and they get 5 minutes and they'll spend 3 of it fucking around.
Yeah.
No, you don't need that. Whenever you're reduced to 3 minutes or even less time, you get the point. I have to just get to the point.
Mm-hmm.
I can't just ramble on.
Yeah, 5 minutes doesn't sound like a long time, but when you're in a room full of people that are looking at you, the strangers you're trying to make laugh,
mm-hmm.
all the pressure's on you, just standing, it's quiet. 5 minutes is an eternity.
Yeah, it's very long.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing where as soon, whenever I started going to that mic that went from 5 to 3, I was mad about it at first, but now I'm like, that made me a lot better actually, because I didn't have time to waste.
Mm-hmm.
And I figured out I'm funniest when I'm, not a space cadet and I'm,
right.
I know what I'm going to do. I don't know.
Do you have a 20 or 30 or 1 hour long set? What do you got?
So, I mean, I've done 30 before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, and I would. It's such a complicated thing because I want the gigs, I want to do 30 minutes like that,
mm-hmm.
but I'm not gonna, be cocky and be like, yeah, I got 30, 45 minutes. If you're thinking about booking me, then yes, I do. But
right.
really,
little crowd work, little fuckery going on.
Yeah. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that I have 45 minutes of A material.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck no. I can fill time,
right?
And I've learned some things about doing crowd work and stuff like that.
Okay.
I'm confident
I
can do it potentially,
mm-hmm.
but am I a safe bet for 30 minutes? No.
Okay. It's It's probably hard to come up with a straight 30 minutes if it's a lot of 5-minute open mic spots.
Yeah, well, that's the problem because
do you
like
do?
people who do 30-minute sets and are at that level, they have a structured, they've been doing it for a long time. They know how to segue into stuff. I just have random, jokes, and I have, a ton of them that in theory work, but not as a structured,
Gotcha.
30-minute set. Like I'm confident I can do 15 minutes and knock it out of the park sometimes.
Yeah.
Like
That's cool. I'd like to be able to do that.
right. But it's so hard because no one, I don't think people just like automatically on their first 30-minute, feature spot or whatever, I don't think people necessarily know how to do it. You just do X amount of open mics and then you're there. Like, I think that, everyone starts getting booked on their 30-minute things and you just figure it out, as you do that more and more. It's not, I don't know. I
gotta piss like a racehorse.
I do too, man. Ugh.
You want to piss again and come back, or do you want to wrap
Yeah.
it up?
Let's.
Whatever. I'm down for whatever,
I'm
man.
gonna pee now.
Let's piss. Stop streaming, sir. We gotta go. We got this coffee. All right, here we go. Where do we leave off? Talking about something good. Oh, we're talking about your show. Right?
Well, if it isn't comedy.
Well, if it isn't comedy, is what
Mhm.
we were kind of. Oh yeah, so we talked about that. Where were we? Do you remember?
Well, I don't know. All I could think about there towards the end was peeing.
Me too.
Yeah.
But I remember it was something good. Oh, people are gonna be yelling at us right now. I'll tell you what we can bring up real quick. We were just talking about off mic. My opinion, what should be film of the year, Dolomite Is My Name
Yeah.
on Netflix. Eddie Murphy.
I still have yet to see that. Is it like a drama or is it a comedy or a mix of both? What is that?
Yep. It's everything. It's Dolomite.
Yeah.
I literally laughed my ass off, and golly, I even cried a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't. The last movie I shed a tear on
Mm-hmm.
was the dog movie, Marley and Me. Was that the name of
Yeah.
it? The dog movie. I
So
bawled
you-
my eyes out.
You haven't cried since then?
Not at a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've bawled my eyes out about some other personal shit.
You want to
I've-
talk about it, Ryan?
No, I've done enough talking about it. I've done a lot of talking about not on the podcast, but yeah,
Okay.
I've had some darkness,
Well,
some cries, some tears have been
happens
shed.
to the best of us. Not me, but
Clearly.
I have some friends that are human beings with feelings and
They're weird.
stuff. Yeah.
I don't get them very often, and that's why it struck me as weird that I was like, "Am I crying at Dolomite? It's a comedy."
Mm-hmm.
But it's really like the story of how Dolomite got made, and it touched me. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's so funny. It's good, man.
I have no reason to not watch that movie. I like it's Eddie Murphy starring in it, right?
Yeah.
I'm glad to see he's doing stuff again.
Yeah, I'd like to see him do comedy again. Stand-up comedy.
I'm sure that's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite? Oh, Nate Bargatze.
Yeah, I love Nate Bargatze. I like Mark Normand a lot.
I've heard of him. I think he's got some Netflix specials. I've heard of him.
Yeah, he's terrific as far as the newer. I mean, he's been doing stand-up forever, but like, he's really blown up recently. And then I like as far as like old dudes, I don't think anyone's funnier than Norm Macdonald probably.
Oh,
But-
he's hilarious.
Yeah,
He's so funny. So yeah.
I love him.
His cadence, and
Yeah.
I know where we were at. We were talking about trying to develop like a 30 minutes,
Oh yeah, that's right.
and how hard that must be.
It's very hard.
Do you have like how do you do that? If all you can mainly do are 5-minute sections, do you try to map out a 30-minute section, or do you perform a 30-minute try to do 30 minutes of material in your house or something on your own, and then do 5-minute chunks at a time, or like, how does it? I
don't perform in the mirror. I did that, when I first started, but that the cringiness of that outweighs, the potential benefits. But there are the cool thing about comedy at this level in Kansas City is there are places where, if as long as you've been doing it for a little while and you're somewhat, likable and know the right people, like there are places where you can go and it might not be the best situation, but there are, there's stages where you can work on shit and stuff like that. And everyone, it's a small enough scene that as long as you are those things, like you appear to be trying and you're a decent enough hang, you're going to run into opportunities that you don't deserve, yet.
Kansas City is like a small town within a big city. It's kind of got a lot of small town mentality, which is like the nice parts of it.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Absolutely. And some of the opportunities that you get, what I'm talking about with you don't deserve them or you don't necessarily get them. I don't know, a lot. It is one of the, comedy is one of those things where just if you're a good hang and you befriend the right people, you're going to get opportunities that are above your skill set, and that's good because you're thrown into something where there's high pressure and it's a good learning experience.
Way to learn, right?
Yeah, I my good friend Aaron Naylor recently took me to, he's passed a feature at this club in Arkansas called the Grove. It's awesome.
That's cool
place.
How exciting is that?
Yeah,
like a little milestone to hit one of those. That must be really cool for a comic.
Yeah, and Aaron Naylor, of all the people that I know, working out of Kansas City, he's on the road all the time. He submits to festivals, gets booked on festivals. He is the definition of just hustling.
Hustle, road dog.
Yes, absolutely. And
get it, son.
Yeah, he gave me an opportunity. I got to go down to the Grove with him, and they needed an MC, I guess. And one of the stipulations of that particular club is your MC, until they've been passed to do this again, they have to be completely clean. So because I'm one of very few people who can do, clean comedy around here, he reached out to me about it, and I got that opportunity, and I'm going to exploit that. I was on my best behavior all weekend. It was a big deal to me to get to work a club in Arkansas.
I bet.
So I'm going to milk that for all it's worth.
That's an experience.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I did my best. Like I said, I was on my best behavior to, not ruin the show, and make people have a good time, and also just be courteous to the club owner. And I'm going to use that to get more opportunities there. And I got to meet the headliner and hang out with, someone who's somewhat famous. And, so now I have a little bit of I don't know. It's these step ladders, and you gotta, when you get opportunities like that, you cannot fuck it up. In my mind, I have to exploit everything that I have to get, farther along.
You got to get out there.
Yeah, I don't just, when I get an opportunity like that, I don't see it as a way to have a good time on the weekend. It's no, this is important.
This is my future.
Yeah.
This is really cool. One of the things I love about doing this podcast is I'm obsessed with documentaries. I love watching the stories.
Right.
From the beginning to the middle to the end. I love watching that kind of stuff. And this, it's like I get people like you in here that I get to see that are embarking on these journeys, and they're at a certain stage, and it's just fun. It's like, I don't get the it's nice to get the opportunity to get into your little journey.
Right.
It's fun. It's really cool to see. Like, I love what you're doing, man. Like, I'm kind of jealous of. I wish I would have done something like that when I was 28. I mean, I hope people don't take this the wrong way. I love my kids, and I love being a dad. That's one of my favorite things. I love it. But had I done it different, there would have been a way to do it different and do things different. You take different roads, and I won't die alone.
Yeah.
A couple kids.
Right. Yeah. Well, it goes back to what you were saying about that nugget of wisdom you were telling me about. Keeping relationships in their place or whatever. Right. It's like, me being passionate about something and wanting to spend 99% of my time devoted to that doesn't mean I like you less. Like,
right.
It's not, it's different. Like, you can love your kids and your life now. That doesn't mean that. Oh no,
it's one of the, I try to look at things at the most positive level I can. And so being divorced, it's whatever, I look at it, I don't get my kids all the time, which sucks. But when I don't have them, I make the best of it.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. So I just make the best of it, and it's great.
Yeah.
It's great. It's like, just do whatever I want when I want. Yeah.
And there's something to be said about, being a dad, and someone in your situation, and you're not spending all your time just drinking beer and watching football or whatever. Right. I'm sure there's a time and place for that, but you're doing stuff.
Yeah.
So I try to think about, because I have a real tendency, like, I have addiction issues, and I always try to think about, like, the next day, like 24 hours from now, am I going to be glad that I watched Arrested Development for the 14th time? Or
that's a good show.
It is a great show. I probably would. Bad example, because that's the best show ever. But yeah, like, ultimately, this time tomorrow.
Did I spend my time wisely?
Yeah, because that can get scary real quick. Just lost time.
Right. Well, hopefully tomorrow you wake up and say, yeah, yesterday I spent my time well.
I won't.
Damn.
No.
Damn, I think, yeah.
I'm glad I'm here. This is better than what I would be doing.
Good. Me too.
Yeah.
I'd just be upstairs drinking, watching football.
Right.
It's getting cold out there. What else am I going to do?
Yeah. You don't want to know what I'd be doing.
So you are primarily a clean comic?
No.
Okay.
Not necessarily.
But you can be super clean and
yeah, I've kind of
Is that needed around here for the most part? Or like what's kind of
Dude, if you can't like the ability to do that stuff, and obviously this isn't my original thought. I've picked up on this from listening to other people talk about it, but if you can do clean, it makes you
more bookable?
way more bookable. And I also think that in order to become like truly I'm gonna sound very fucking Yoda-y right now, but and it's very unwarranted.
You study comedy, so I'll accept it.
I mean, I just the tendency when you start is to be as shocking as possible, and it gets confusing. Like, a lot of new open micers, myself included, don't understand that there's a difference between being shocking and being funny,
right?
Or being crude and being funny.
Mm-hmm.
So when you take the shock factor out of it and just make yourself just try to be funny without that.
Right.
It's just a more I guess it's just a more pure way to like get funny, because you don't have those crutches. And I think about that when that's a good writing exercise. Like even when I have a bit that might have some profanity or something off color in it, like it's a good writing exercise to make that a clean bit. Just see if there's still something there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Is there, or do you have is there like a little comic community that's healthy, like where you guys kind of help each other out with like material, like, hey, like here's a couple jokes I've been working on, can you help me punch it up for a little bit, or to say, hey, I'm having trouble with this joke, can you do you guys, is there anything, does that stuff go on? Like,
yeah, I mean, it absolutely does, but you have to figure out, that's an awkward thing to like figure out early on, because it's very easy to meet up with someone under the guise of writing, but nothing really gets done, because it's not, I don't know, it's not an art critique. But if you develop a friendship, or several friendships with comics who you respect their writing, and you know that they're going to be honest with you and not just placate you, like that. Yeah, I rely heavily on that with like there are a few comics that, like, if I am on the fence about something, or if we're on the way to something, like I'll just be like, hey, what do you think about this and stuff like that, because we all form, like, everyone that I know, like I've seen their material so many times, their old material so many times, and there's tags like in their bits where I'm just like, oh, why is that necessary,
Okay.
But unless you have that type of friendship with someone, that's very uncomfortable to tell them, because, like, number one, it's like, if I say something, am I going to come off like I think I'm better?
Yeah, you don't know how it's going to come off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we always have to keep ourselves in check, because even, like, it ain't about what I think is funny at the end of the day.
Right.
Like, it's about how you're perceived, and it's so easy to slip into just like, fuck it, I'm going to say whatever I want. I think it's hilarious or whatever. But you're really kind of shooting yourself in the foot if you're not paying attention to like how people are going to perceive it,
Right.
Like, it's so easy to turn people off, and just the way you say something, or just a slight change of phrase. Like, it's so, like, some comics, like, they go up and like immediately shit on the room or whatever, and that, like, yeah, like, you've seen famous comics do that, like, start their set, but they know what they're doing, like, I don't know. I used to, like, I in recent history have started a set at a comedy club by kind of shitting on how old the crowd is. And it's just, why, like, why am I doing that? Like,
yeah.
Why
start off on the wrong foot?
Yeah.
Why have them against you instead of with you?
It's a huge hole to get yourself into. Like, I don't know why we're that way, but like these people don't know you. Like, all you are to them is just being rude for them showing up and paying money, supporting comedy. And, like, it's just like, I don't know.
Little realizations that you make.
Yeah.
Little growing pains.
Don't punish people for trying to support you. You're not Mark Maron, unless you are Mark Maron.
Huh. I know he's got a really big podcast. I've never really listened to it.
Yeah.
But I know who he is.
You guys, you should listen to him. Okay.
You know what? I will. Got any episodes that you want to direct me to? You got any favorites that I should?
Oh boy. Now I mean, listen to the Barack Obama episode.
I was going to say, I know
he was
Barack,
famous for,
but I think that's one I don't think that's going to be a legit one. I think he got, I want to see a regular one.
Right. I believe he had, like, Keith Richards was a great episode.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, he's a great interviewer. Like he's very good at pushing people, and he's very aggressive with how he interviews. But
ooh, I'm gonna check him out. I'm excited.
Yeah. No, you guys would get along great. Like he podcasts. Andy's divorced several times, so
it's just gonna be one and done for me.
Yeah,
I learned my lesson.
Yeah,
it's not for me. I went into the Army. I went into basic training.
Mm-hmm.
I got just about done with it, and they pulled me aside and said, Private, you don't have any military bearing.
Yeah.
We would like you to go through basic training again. I said, you know what? You're right. I don't have any military bearing. Why don't we, let's just pretend this never happened.
Yeah.
And so they said, okay then. That's what I did. I basically did basic training, and we shook hands and said,
yeah,
you tried. It's it's not going to work out, guys. This is not going to. And I had a 6-year sign up at 18 for 6 years. I'm so glad I got out of that. You're not supposed to have fun in basic training, is what I learned.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun, and you're supposed to take it serious.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
thank you.
Thank you for your service. Is that what you wanted? Is that?
I never looked at it like that, but yes, you're welcome.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to start touting that. Look, I did. I tried. I tried to provide service, and I realized my service is you don't want me. I would only do harm to the military. So I'm doing service by getting out now instead of doing harm.
Well,
a lot of people don't want to use the word hero.
Yeah. Well,
they don't want to, but I'm basically telling them I am a hero.
Well, I don't think we don't appreciate it. I wouldn't have even, without your anecdote, I wouldn't have even known that I owed you a thank you today. I thought you might think this is crazy, but I thought you'd be the one thanking me at the end of today.
You're welcome. I'm going to get like one of those big medals that Tom Cruise has from Scientology.
Yeah.
And just, it's not the Medal of Honor per se, but it's, I don't know, if Trump wants to pin it on me, I'll let him.
Right. Yeah. Both my parents are veterans. Do you know that?
No, I did not know that. My dad is a veteran as well.
They did three tours on the war on Christmas.
How'd that go
they've
for them?
Served us proudly.
Yeah. Didn't go very well.
Well, yeah. I mean, we've lost. Starbucks is still not complying.
They're close.
No, my parents didn't serve in any real wars, or they did no military service at all. But
well, that's all right.
Yeah,
that's all right.
They're both. My dad's a dentist actually, but he just does that to support his true hobby.
Falconry.
Fashion. Falconry, yeah.
Falconry. A falcon. A dentist. Falconer.
Well, and I'm kind of similar because I do comedy to support my real passion of telemarketing. So.
Yeah. Aaron, this was badass.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming on, man.
Hey, no problem. You must want me to leave.
No, I don't at all.
That's kind of what
we can
that's
keep
fine.
going.
You don't even have to say it, man.
Let's keep going. What do you got for me?
Oh, I got nothing. I was actually kind of thinking I'd mosey on out of here pretty quick, but
let's kick his ass out of here.
Yeah.
We can see you every Wednesday at the Rino.
Yes.
Stands for River North.
It does.
I like it.
I can be seen there, and you as well.
Yes, I hope I'm not going to be accepted, as you're saying. They're going to be hard on me.
Dude,
but
if that's all you
fine.
took from this, I want you there.
Oh, I'm showing up whether they want me there or not.
I want you there.
Nah, they can't run me out. I've got too much of nothing else to do, really.
You need to become the divorce guy.
I'm going to be the divorce
Everyone
guy.
needs a gimmick.
Is there not a divorce guy up there?
I mean, I'm sure that like everyone that you see there has either been through a divorce or is about to. But
there's not a divorce guy?
there's no one so far with that gimmick
There it is.
that I'm aware of.
I'm doing it. I can't wait.
Well, I can't wait to see you develop.
How many
into
minutes of divorce material should I start working on my 30 minutes now and have it ready in like 2 years? I'm ready for a 30-minute divorced set.
I think what you're talking about is a TED Talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those can be funny.
Right.
They can have funny moments. No TED Talk, huh?
You see, I know I was being mean earlier.
You were?
Yeah.
When?
Well, I mean, like I keep bringing up your divorce. You're clearly over it. But no.
I'll talk about it all day.
For what it's worth, Ryan, you seem very divorceable. I've got half a mind to marry you just so I can divorce you.
I'm a hard guy to live with.
Really?
Probably.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Shocking, right?
Well, and I don't mean to pry, but did you start a podcast because you got a divorce, or did your podcast cause the divorce?
Oh no, I started it after my divorce.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't do this while
that would have been punk rock, dude. Like if you could have made the marriage work, but your love of podcasting got in the way.
It didn't help.
Yeah.
I started it pretty quickly after, I started it before the actual paper was signed.
Right.
I mean, we were separated, and it was going to happen. And just so during that time is kind of when I started it, and yeah, it definitely it helped me get. Yeah, it's definitely helping me. It helped me through it, and I didn't say it kept me from going back to it, but it was motivating.
Yeah.
Something to do. Something to focus on. You do go through a dark time during divorce. Well, I did.
Right.
Like, especially with kids.
Oh, yeah.
Shit just comes up like, oh, shit, am I a failure now? Like, I'm just a statistic? Clearly I am, And so there's a dark time.
Dude,
There's
all
a
I
moment.
wanted to do was that's the only thing I knew about you to make fun of for, and now, you're about to make me cry because I feel bad.
You do? Don't feel bad.
Don't
feel bad at all. I love being divorced.
I should have done more research to find something to make fun of you for that would make me
There's
so
plenty out
unlikable.
there. There's plenty out there.
I know. And
I'm an idiot. I mean, I'm really dumb. You can make fun of me for that easily.
If you were dumb, why would you be driving a Mitsubishi?
A 2005 busted up 230,000 mile no paint job Mitsubishi. Yes. That's what the divorce brings you.
Right.
But certain freedoms come with having that vehicle.
Right.
Let me tell you something. Wherever I go, I leave it unlocked.
Really?
Yeah. Open it up. What are you going to... There's nothing in there.
Yeah.
And you're not going to break my window.
Right.
You're just going to open it up, find, some up-down coins from up-down?
Yeah. I thought you said you were dumb.
Well, I've learned these lessons from being dumb. I used to lock my shitty vehicles and they'd get broken into.
Right.
And now I just but you couldn't do that with like a nice car, 2016 whatever.
Right. Well, at least you live on the east side of town where it's safe. Right?
It's safe enough here. I know. And the funny thing is, I know my car's been rummaged through out there.
Right.
You'll come out and the dome light is still on, or the doors cracked a little bit. And you're like, gosh darn it. It still
Right.
sucks.
Right.
It's like you assholes didn't get anything.
Yeah.
But thank you for at least opening it and checking and not
Right.
breaking something. It's just, I don't have to worry if something, I don't have to worry about keeping up with the Joneses with it. I don't have to worry about washing it. I don't have to take it to the car wash.
Mhm.
What's the point?
You're making a lot of sense. And this is all coming from a guy who doesn't have a car. So,
Right. The scariest thing is filling up the gas tank and it dying after I
Yeah.
just filled it up and spent $40.
yeah. Dude, you really kind of bummed me out there.
Yeah.
Mm.
This should not be bumming you out. I'm finding a way to do it. This is divorced lifestyle, sir.
Dude, whenever I searched your Facebook thing, that's the only thing I know about you, and so I keep bringing it up. But I'm sorry.
Well, don't be sorry. That is the funny thing. So I just took one of my favorite things to do is take my daughter, she's 3, downtown every other Friday morning after
Right.
I drop my kid off from school. My son from school, I'll take her
Right.
downtown. We were down there a few weeks ago. Beautiful, beautiful sunny day. And we were just walking around and some guy comes up to us and gives us a little pamphlet. Hey, how's it going there? Beautiful daughter. I go, oh, thanks. He goes, oh, we're Scientologists.
Oh no, that explains it.
I was like, oh, how's it going? Interesting. He's like, yeah. And he's like, so you come down here? You from around here? I was like, yeah, I come down here all the time. And
Mm-hmm.
it was really interesting to have the Scientologists come up to us. I was like, they were bang. And then we got on the train, on the streetcar, and went to the other side of the streetcar, and another one popped out. They were all over the place, handing out and talking to us. And it was
They're everywhere.
it was interesting to see them out there hustling like that. Like people are still doing Scientology, and it's growing in Kansas City apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know that I've ever encountered a Scientologist, in my personal life. I have encountered flat earth people.
I've had one on my podcast.
Really?
He used to produce my podcast.
Really?
Yeah, they're interesting folks.
Why are you talking about yourself in the third person? Ryan?
Yeah, I believe the Earth is round. My point with that, the Scientologist he was like, asked me about my daughter and I was like, oh yeah, I'm divorced. He goes, oh, I'm so sorry. I go, why? I go, what are you sorry for? I love it. It's great. There's nothing to be sorry for. It didn't work out. Whatever. It's not the end of the world, and you make the best of it. Like,
Yeah.
don't be sorry that I'm divorced, man.
Oh,
We'll come up with something.
I'm mainly
What are we-
concerned.
yeah.
I'm concerned with, because I think about, and I forgot to take my medication this morning, so I might be a little extra paranoid. But I worry all the time about my, my, like, how people will perceive me, and I'm concerned first of all that someone will listen to this, and
Someone will.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just, I don't want it to get out that I'm a bad person, or that I'm mean or something like that.
But you're bad, Aaron.
I do have, I am bad _Aaron. I do, like, so, you have stuff that comics say on stage, and that's like, might be a little ornery, but that's mainly our best behavior. And then, like, the stuff that, like, I have friends that, like, we say just the most heinous things when it's just me and them.
Right.
And I don't know. My buddy the other day, I said something that was just disturbing and gross, and he was like, have you considered letting people know who you really are on stage, So I don't know. I don't
It's a scary thing.
yeah.
That would be for me.
Yeah.
Nobody needs to do that, though.
Right. No.
Don't let them know the deepest parts. That's for nobody but,
Yeah.
your couple of deep friends that you can confide in.
Yeah. Yeah. It's between me and Satan.
Hey, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
If he existed.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Whoops. It's checking his watch. He's ready to go.
I do.
Yeah, let's get the hell
I
out
have
of
a
here.
lot to-
Yeah.
lot to
Let's
do.
get the hell out of here. Pimp,
All right.
pimp your last stuff here, whatever you want. This is your last hoorah. Say anything you'd like here.
If there's anything that you take from this, I just want people to know that Brandon Patrick is the worst person I've ever met in my life, and I gave him the benefit of the doubt for long enough. I am amazed that he can fit so much evil in a 4'5" but 250-pound frame.
There it is, everybody. Bad _ Aaron _ Scarbrough. I'm Neanderthal Pod. Can I get a fist bump?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. We're out of here. Bye.
All right.